Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Otaku Crew podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Wiseman Lee, and thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. We are on episode 37, and I would like to remind everyone that you can catch our episodes on most podcast platforms, such as Anchor, Google Podcasts, etc. And you can also catch our episodes on YouTube and Rumble. If you do find us there, please subscribe and like our videos to show your appreciation, and of course, we would love that. So allow me to introduce our panelists. Up first, we got our anime resident expert other than Leifon. It's Tensa, your boy. How's it going, Tensa?
Yo,
You
how's
good?
it going, my sons? Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
man. For
yeah,
sure.
we good. Next up, we have our editor, Rek, who pops in a few times to participate in our episodes. What's up, Rek?
Yo, what up? It's nice to be on board.
Go. Glad to have you here. And last, of course, we have T.
Hello.
Hi, T. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
We're doing good. We're good. We want you to participate more of our episodes. I know you have a busy schedule and everything, but it's good to have another female voice.
I will try my best to free up my schedule.
No problem. No problem. All right. So for today's topic, we kind of covered this in our earlier episodes where we talked about who should inherit One for All. You guys were were not in that episode. That was very early on. So, but for today, we're covering quirks again, but particularly we'll be debating on which quirks are useful and which quirks are useless and how we can apply them in real life situations, like real life application. So it's gonna be an interesting episode. I can't wait to get started. Does anybody want to start first, or should I take the wheel?
I can start.
Go ahead, T.
Okay, so for my useful quirk, well, I think everyone would probably agree with this. Chiyo Suzenji, which is Recovery Girl, who is also the nurse at UA Academy. Her quirk is Heal, which I think everyone is familiar with. It the human body's natural healing process, but all she has to do is kiss the person who's injured, and then they can heal fast. Obviously, it's a really weird way to apply her quirk, but that's what kind of what makes it fun, because you have a little granny just kissing you to make you feel better.
Hey, Morty, come and give Grammy a big old kiss.
All right, that's cool. Then what's your useless quirk that you find that should not apply in real life?
Okay, so my useless quirk is Rikido Sato, who is also known as Sweets Hero Sugarman. He is a student in class 1A. So he's Midoriya's classmate, and he's considered a pro hero. So his quirk to increase his strength 5 times more for 3 minutes. But to activate his quirk, he needs to consume 10 grams of sugar. So when it converts sugar into strength, but the thing is, his cognitive functions gradually drop, which makes him sleepy afterwards. So, but the thing is, well, obviously for every 10 grams of sugar he ingests, it increases the time for another 3 minutes. But the issue is he gets really tired afterwards, and he's not as smart because his cognitive functions aren't as active. So yeah, I don't think in real life it would apply, like it would be very useful, because you have a lot of physical strength when you're starting off, but then it kind of dumbs you down as well, so it's like
All right, cool. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Go ahead, Rick.
Or I do. I gotta say that must be every guy's dream, where he could have as much sugar as he want and still have the physique of a bodybuilder.
It's not fair!
I'll say that.
True that.
All right. Now in my opinion, for a useful quirk, I would have to go with the number 2 hero, Hawks. This is incredible wings. Now, the way I see it, transportation, very simple. He could use the wings in any way or form that he desires and create weapons out of it. So I could see that being like the great way of enjoying life, is just always in the sky, not have to worry about paying for a car, public transport, forget it. And Honestly, it must be a great way to impress the ladies. Take them on a nice trip.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
I see. Yeah, true. Okay. What's
Yeah.
your choice? What's your useless quirk that you've chosen?
I'm pretty sure everyone's thought about this, but Aoyama's navel laser.
Mr. Twinkle Twinkle? Sparkle Sparkle?
Yes, sir. Tickling.
All right.
He the thing like twice, 3 times, and he's got the stomach ache the size of food poisoning.
Well, I was gonna ask, can you give a description of his quirk also, if possible?
Basically, he just puts out his pelvis and he shoots a laser from his belly button that can do a considerable amount of damage. However, if he does it too many times, it can give him a stomach ache.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, how is that any helpful to not only the community, let alone himself?
Gotcha. All right, Tensa. Well, you can speak up next, and then I'll give my choice.
All right. So where do I start? Where do I start?
Start with the useful one.
I think that yes. Okay, for the useful one, I'll pick Koichi Haimaiwari's quirk, otherwise known as the Sky Crawler from Boku no Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Mm-hmm.
His quirk is basically slide and glide, which allows him to slide on plane surfaces, and because by basically repelling against it. So essentially, yes, he needs at least 3 of his 4 limbs to activate, but the idea of being able to slide off everything seems pretty subtle and useful, especially once you kind of get the hang of the quirk. For example, you can just speed dash like on all fours. Like, come on, dude. It's kind of cool. And of course, if you're doing a lot of martial arts where everything requires contact, this gets pretty nifty.
Okay, cool.
The useless one, I will take. This one, I would say Todoroki's Toya's Blue Flame Quirk, otherwise known as Dabi.
Mm-hmm.
Not because the quirk is bad in itself, but there are so many issues that the quirk is primarily suicidal just using it. Because essentially, it's very similar to Hellfire, but it is powered by your emotions. And this is also why, like, the higher that your emotions are, the higher the heat of your flames are, to the point that in this case it becomes blue. And the problem with it is that just using it cooks you from the inside.
Okay.
And while it is powerful, I do think that the drawbacks makes it not worth it to use, especially if you do not have the secondary powers to resist the heat.
Gotcha. All right. Interesting choices, guys. This is good so far. So, my choice is quirk by Momo Yaoyorozu. So hard to say her name. I'm just gonna call her Momo. Her quirk is creation, right? So this quirk gives her the ability to create any non-living material or object from her exposed skin by transforming the molecular structure of her fat cells. So in order to create something, she needs to understand the molecular structure first of what the object is made of. And so the more Momo eats, the more material she has to work with. So she needs like quite a bit of food intake for her quirk to be effective. However, it takes a more extended period of time and more skin exposure to create large objects, to the point where she forces large objects to her costume, leaving it all shredded. Even though she says she can repair them sometimes too, but that's her quirk. So I find that quirk to be quite useful. The least useful quirk that I found was Mineta's pop off. That quirk, what it does, it pretty much allows him to produce and pluck ball-shaped objects from his head. The balls grow back as fast as they're plucked. The balls are just sticky and they stick to any surface. And, sometimes they can bounce off. I think there's a bit of a recoil for him too, where his health kind of diminishes as he keeps doing that. You know, he bleeds from his head too, I think. But let's say he could pull them out as many times he wants from his head. But if he plucks too many, yeah, he starts bleeding out. Yeah, not so ideal for not such an ideal quirk to be had, but yeah, that's it. So let's start debating on the usefulness of our quirks that we've chosen and their application, of course, the uses why we think they might not be so useless. You know, I think for my character Momo, her quirk creation, it has a lot of what's the way I could say it? A lot of real life application. Yeah, a lot of real life application can use because her quirk pretty much creates like anything. Anything is like at least like non-living material. So we can ask her to create like I don't know, like EV batteries for cars, prosthetic arms or legs to help any individual who has missing limbs. Like the options are like limitless. So her quirk is like the best out of everyone that have given their useful quirk. I think hers the best among everybody, but that's my personal opinion. For T, I think that the Sugar Rush quirk, yes, it has its drawbacks, but I think it could come in very clutch when it comes to like last second strength. You'll need to like do some sort of like task where if you're tired, don't have enough strength, and you need to do something or just be very proactive.
Yeah, but the fact that you have to have sugar on you at all times, like if you don't have sugar on you, you're screwed.
Yeah, well, I
right?
mean, sugar's pretty accessible. You just have to grab like a few small packets from like I don't know any coffee shop or fast food place, and you just have them on you. And like I said, it comes in very clutch. I wouldn't rely on it, but I don't find it to be such a very useless quirk because, like I said, whenever you need something to be taken care of fast with strength and a bit more stamina and durability, then I don't think it's so bad.
It's a cheap way to get the job done, but given that you might not use that very often, I agree on why that would not be very useful. It's gonna be like useful not one or two times per maybe a year, unless you're doing
Unless you're working in a domain where a lot of like
Or
strength is required. Yeah, you never know. Maybe construction. I'll give you an example. Construction.
Construction that was the only place where I saw this would be needed.
Yeah, then I would apply that to construction in the
Because guess what?
Yeah, what's up?
$20 of sweet constructions. Yo,
You'd be lifting all them heavy blocks. You would probably do all the work in half the time.
You'd be Superman, and you might not need as many machines.
Yeah. And for Rec, I know you chose the what's it called, the laser gun quirk. I forgot what it's called, but
Naval laser.
Naval laser. Yeah, I mean, yes, it can be useless as a quirk, but the thing is, I can find that very applicable in real life too, especially in the military district. Like, it can be used as a super weapon against your enemy. Pretty much, he's a cannon if you think about it, because like you say, it does damage. So I don't find that to be quite useless. I think it's beneficial for the military to use as a quirk.
I will counter argument that actually.
Go ahead.
I
was hoping a Rec
on the first glance, but it doesn't outrank a rifle.
Well, I was hoping, Tenza, I was hoping Rec would kind of defend himself, but it's okay. You can defend for him.
Oh yeah. I did not see that one coming.
No, it's okay.
But, the thing is that if you have no weapons and that's your only weapon, this beats any light weapon like handguns, Desert Eagle, and that's good. But the moment that you are fighting artillery, you're outranked. So, and on top of that, you're not gonna outrank a sniper with the naval laser, and that's where I'm having issues with. And on top of that, don't forget that you have a limited amount of fire before the bellyache. That bellyache will last longer than having to recharge your rifle.
Well, I mean, think of it like that. It's like a weapon that needs recharging, like any other weapon. So, depending on the range and power of your naval laser, it could still do potential damage. Let's be honest.
It can get it doesn't seem to get the job done. As far as I saw it, it just doesn't.
Okay.
However, but the uniqueness of it makes you. There's a uniqueness to it, so it allows you to kind of like hit at unexpected places, because who the hell's gonna like naval laser,
Well, don't announce it.
I'm going I'm going to obliterate your kneecap.
Surprise attack! Headshot, then shot! Really? A gun? How's he doing this? I'm so confused. I wish he would just tell me how he's doing this. You know you're yelling out all your attacks before you do them, right?
Now, can I say my defense?
Yes, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not against what you're saying about how it can be used in a certain scenario
Mm-hmm.
where, yes, military could use that as like testing ground for strength in weapons or distance or
Combat
Like you
training. Yeah.
training. However, the drawbacks is just it's not worth it for a human being. If a soldier had the same power, like to use it once or twice and then he's kaput, he's just a dead duck in the field. He's just lying there with his pants down and
I
just
I will counter argue with this one because it's because in the context of kids in a school, of course, it's going to be 1 or 2 shots and they're done. But keep in mind that in a military scenario, they might have their stomach trained so they can actually do more shots.
Not only that, I would also argue that perhaps they'll have some medication on them in their hands so that they can use that to
painkillers.
recover. Yeah, to recover their stomach aches. Just chug down that painkiller.
Oh, that would be scary, actually.
But it's the only way I could see them actually like avoiding the drawback so that they're not like sitting ducks out there.
Until the hangover hits.
Is there a hangover effect? I don't even know about that.
Not in that sense. I mean, like when the painkiller stops working,
Yeah.
the stomach ache will just come back full force.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
what I meant
Oh
by
yeah.
that.
So you're gonna
Until it
have to finish off your enemy or your attack as soon as possible for sure. What about you, T? You're very quiet in your corner.
I'm just listening to you guys discuss. I'm having a great time listening.
You know, for your quirk heal, it is a very useful quirk for sure because that would save like many lives and everything. But I don't think there's any drawback for a heal, eh?
Mm-mm.
No,
I guess
this
the
is
one
the-
drawback maybe
I'll
is
say-
how you have to kiss someone, but that would be it.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Maybe some people might be against it because they don't want to have like someone
physical
kissing
touch,
them.
some people-
Yeah, the physical thing, especially those who are germaphobes. So then it becomes a bit hard for them to
That's-
like.
That's why you kind of
Form.
force them into.
You force them into without consent and shit. You canceled them. And so-
Consent is important, guys. Always remember this.
Oh yes, but it does not exist in a hospital when it appears to save your life. It just does not exist.
I mean, it depends on the laws.
True. It does depend on the law and where you're from.
Fair enough. And if you have a DNR,
Yeah.
because DNR now that would be a problem.
Hey everyone, this episode is sponsored by Audible. If you're like me and you want to find yourself a pastime but don't have enough time in the day due to school, work, or commuting, let me present to you Audible. Now, many of you have heard about Audible, but I'm going to tell you a bit more about it. Audible is an American online audiobook and podcast service that lets you enjoy all your audio entertainment on one app, whether it be, for example, a few in my library are His Dark Materials, Percy Jackson, Aragon, Witcher, Lord of the Rings, and many more for you to discover. You can always find audio for books you have been wanting to read or podcasts you've been dying to listen to. You will also find all the Otaku Crew up-to-date episodes lists available on Audible. As an Audible member, you can also choose one title a month to keep from the entire catalog, which includes the latest bestsellers and new releases. If you follow our Audible link, www.audibletrial.com/officialotakucrew, you can start a free 30-day trial. So go to Audible now and start your free trial. You now return back to your scheduled episode.
Cool. What else? What else did we cover? Yeah, Sugar Rush. Like I said, there's still a way to apply to real life, but it's not so bad. Yeah, I think Minetta's is probably the worst quirk out of all the choices we have because he just
Because he
produces
likes-
balls. That's it. He produces balls and they just stick to any surface. I'm like, how is that useful, man? We have glue for that. Your balls.
The point is that you can't put them balls in your mouth, right? And
I had a feeling we were gonna go there.
And my favorite part is that they're very sticky, you know?
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, I'm gonna shove them down your throat too. Yeah, man. You.
Better not! You better not!
And I
Just
wonder how they
this
taste like.
slide,
Actually, I'm curious.
I cannot see much application, and as much as I'm concerned,
Well, I mean,
throwing carrot people.
that's the thing. Like him, it's like okay, they stick to any surface, and maybe you could use them as a what do you call those suction cups to like climb the walls and everything. But I'm like, you already have suction cups itself too. Like, it's just useless, man. My guy, you're useless. Like you wear a diaper
Now that's just mean.
for heaven's sake.
The thing is that using your powers to replace suction cups makes it cool, but the problem is that I'm going with you with the idea that okay, yeah, I can climb a building with my own suction cups, but at the same time, I'm like, why bother?
Why? 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 Why?
That's it. Nah, his quirk is the useless, man. I take the naval laser, the sugar rush,
Over it.
and even Dobby's quirk over it. Easy.
Dobby is funny. It's fun to use. It's just that it kills you, right?
Well, actually, his quirk, I don't find it to be that useless, but it is quite dangerous, especially when you have no control over the flames.
The question. That's why it's the lack of control that makes it so dangerous that it will kill you sooner than you'll be even able to enjoy it. It's not like I can use Blue Flame to have a barbecue in my backyard. It's oh shit, I killed my family. The Fire Nation attacked. Come on, man.
Wreck T.
It's so powerful that the difficulty to control and the fact that the side effects has you literally being cooked from the inside to the point that your limbs does not work makes it a short-lived quirk.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. It's a big drawback, but come on, man. Compared to Mineta, bro, you don't even want him on your team. Forget it. At least with Dobby, you have the firepower. You can at least do some damage.
Dobby does not even need the power to roast you. He just roasts you with his words.
True.
I mean, you're not wrong.
He's out of line, but he's right.
T, or Rek, you have more to say?
No, that's more or less it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I was kind of hoping for more of a fight, guys.
I am very disappointed.
I think we all agree. We all have the same sentiments on these.
I was expecting someone to talk about slide and glide, but okay, that's fine.
Well, we can go into that. I completely forgot about your useful quirk. If anything, I'd say Dobby's quirk is more useful than slide and glide, but I mean, okay, so so let me get it straight. He slides to any direction and on any surface, right? How is that help?
Anything from every direction to the point of like sometimes he can float, he can fly with that.
So
he can even create a like when you use the repellent as a force field, he can even do that.
Wait, so he can fly using that too?
Yes. He can just launch himself to fly.
Okay, that's kind of OP. I never thought about him flying like that.
That's why he's called Sky Crawler.
Sorry, Rek. I think his quirk is better than a Hawk's what's it called? Flight quirk with the feathers. If he can slide off and fly.
Yeah. The thing is that
I can counter that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Basically, the slide and glide, he would still need something to slide off. So unless he's sliding off, like, say, the Eiffel Tower, there's a limit to how high he can actually go.
Agreed. That is actually confirmed.
Well, here's the thing, Rek. I could also counter your quirk, too, because your quirk is solely dependent on the number of feathers, and if Dobby was to come up and burn up those feathers, well, then you're just a sitting duck also. And I think
the other argument is that because you're stuck with feathers, flight is pretty much flying like an airplane. So if you're gonna run into like, let's say, a train running at you, you don't have much time to dodge, and if you get hit, you're dead. While if you have like the repellent, for example, you get to repel off any surface. It doesn't matter.
Well, here's the thing. Also, in terms of both your quirks, if you were to like go up in the sky and start flying too, the thing is we don't know on the other person's mental psyche how they'd handle it because some people are afraid of heights, right? They might have a phobia. So if they were to inherit that quirk, it might not be so beneficial for them. That's my take, though.
False. You just don't need to use the flight part about it. You can use it in many applications. Like you can literally just slide off and just, like you slide off and you use it like as like super running. You don't need to fly. It's the point of that quirk is that it's flexible.
If I may add to that, then think of it like this: when you're using fly, you could stay up in the air, but when you use the slide and you go up, what happens?
Fall down.
Down and
You're
it's
gonna
a
fall down.
surface.
Yeah, you're still gonna fall down because you're not flying. If that makes any sense.
Okay, so it's just a glide up. That's it.
It's a limited flight. You're literally gliding in the air. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hawks is actually flight. Like you fly to the sky and there's no limit as long as no one shoots you down.
Yes.
And while there are drawbacks into I'm just gonna chop off your wings that you can't fly anymore, or Dobby bullshit. The versatility of the feathers kind of counteracts that. Like, hey, yo, I got these knives. Those are called my feathers stab. Come on, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the feathers can also be used as weapons if you sharpen them.
The only thing I hate about it is the fact that you can't hide the wings. The wings are with you forever. There's no subtlety about it.
Actually, no, there could be a way to hide it. There could be a way to hide it. If you were to put like a trench coat over it and something, maybe you can still hide it because they are pretty much like they can wrap around, you know?
Yeah, okay, that might be a fair argument.
I think I saw that once in X-Men. You know, the angel with the wings? He probably did that too.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
And like because there are ways, but it's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. But like I said, they rely so much on the feathers, and the feathers burn up, then they're gone. But I think they do grow back. It just takes a bit of time.
It will take time because this is a mutant quirk. So it will grow back, like actual birds within enough time. But it's true that if your wings are burnt off, you're dead. Like it's gone. Like the problem is that if we actually cut off those wings are not gonna grow back.
Do we know how long it takes for it to grow back? Do we have a time limit?
We do not have an explicit time frame.
Okay. What about you, T? For the sugar rush, like once you consume the sugar and you have your strength, you crash. But how long does it crash? Does it last like forever, or when's the recovery?
No, it's like a permanent crash. So he actually has hypoglycemia.
And he needs to keep it up with the sugar.
Yeah.
So if he does not continue to eat the sugar, the diabetes from his hypoglycemia will hit, and he will just crash.
Yeah.
So it's like his quirk is basically, I'm either on life support because I don't have enough sugar, or I'm too hyper because I have too much sugar. There's nothing in between.
Well,
pretty much, which is why I think it, like for a day-to-day life thing, especially when you're a kid, it's not that great.
But here's the thing. We're assuming that this person has hyperglycemia, right?
No, they have it. It causes the.
I think that's the drawback of the power.
Yeah, it's the drawback of the power.
Oh, so you should get
for example, this character, he does have it. He does have hypoglycemia.
So pretty much, it's instant diabetes then if you have this quirk.
Yes, which it explains why with the sugar he gets to flush out of his system quickly so that it doesn't kill him. But at the same time, the moment that he uses his powers a little bit, everything flushes out.
Yeah. So hypoglycemia, what it does is that it lowers your cognitive functions, your intelligence, and your energy. So like because you pretty much living would be hard for you.
It's imagine that you don't have oxygen in your brain. That's basically hypoglycemia.
Shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that I will rank that up there with Minetta's sticky balls then, and that's pretty bad.
Actually, sticky balls are useful because I can at least get someone's balls in them jaws.
No, stop bringing that up, man.
Stop it. Get some help.
I know you, Tenso, you want to play with them sticky balls.
It's also the fact that I think that the point of the balls, it looks useless, but it will always be useful in someone that is crafty.
Mm, I mean,
The thing is that it's not going to be a day-to-day life thing. Like as a day-to-day life, it sucks. But
it
if
does,
you're
yeah.
crafty enough, it's going to be somewhat.
Well, I mean, just like how Mineta applied it, he was able to make a rope out of those balls, right? They were just like elongated chains and everything. But I'm like, my guy, you could have just gotten a rope yourself or any like string
Yeah,
elongated.
the problem is it's always support item. It's not something that helps.
It does not exactly. I cannot find any other real application for Mineta's quirk. I'm just like, man, you're useless, and you wear diaper.
I wish that those balls he can throw it at people and it sticks, right?
It does,
And
yeah.
when it sticks to someone, it detonates.
Shit, that'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be a better quirk. And then applying
The
that in real life is like you're like a real life bomber.
Yes, like I see Mineta being a bomber would have been funny.
Yeah, then the military would definitely have a great use for you as an asset for sure. I mean, you never know. Mineta's ball could be used in that kind of like section 2 sector, but like
the way that I see it, because he very is supporty, he can create a wall of balls. Oh my god! Basically, act as a shield. I hate myself.
Yeah, but remember, he cannot do it too much because if he takes out too much balls,
he
bleed.
Oh my god!
So instant death is upon you.
Why?
I'm telling you guys, the Mineta's quirk, the what's it called? What was it? It's useless as hell, man. Even at least the sugar. Okay, the sugar rush. Yes, there's a very big drawback, but you're not forced to use it every day. It's like I said, it's very like on critical times you'll probably use it. But his pop off quirk, Mineta's balls just sucks. He's like, oh look what I can do, guys, and everyone's gonna be like, ew, what the hell, man, get away from me.
Emotional, damn it!
Yeah, those balls literally suck on the surface.
That's it. Oh man. So guys, any last arguments you want to say about your quirks and why they're useless or useful, and maybe there could be used in other real life applications?
With the slide and guide, remember when I said about the force shield?
Force shield, okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you did martial arts, and you know how martial arts is about having your 2 feet on the ground and having contact with someone, that counts as a surface.
Against someone, yeah, okay.
Yes. So not only you can just protect yourself by pushing them off you can literally propel them like.
But what if someone else is behind you? Then you just hit into them and everything, and then it's like a continuous like domino effect where you're just hitting off each other. Is there a way to control it, or is it just like?
There is a way to control it, but there's also ways that it can be unconsciously used. So it really depends on the situation, because there is an actual moment where it happened accidentally and the guy was hit in the back and he actually repelled the guy.
Shit.
So that's kind of my favorite part about it. So if you know how to use, so obviously it's very timing based. Like let's say that because you stick contacts with 3 out of 4 limbs, and it will depend on where is that 3rd limb. Because if only your feet is touching the ground, and your hand is not touching anything, well, it's not working.
Okay. I think Tensa made a good argument on why that quirk is pretty useful. I still think Momo's quirk is more useful because, like I said, the application is limitless. You can pretty much create anything. No one even tried to argue me on that, so I guess we're good.
It's because it's really that good. I'm sorry, but like the one that I chose happens to be underrated. I chose the underdog.
I agree. Because nobody even knew what that was. We're like, what is this quirk? You just brought it out of nowhere. Rick, T and Rick, do you guys want to give your last thoughts?
I still think that my quirk, my choice is still pretty good. The benefits are as high as you can fly.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yes, as high as you can breathe, actually. But yes, there is a limit on how, unfortunately, Hawks's quirk does not allow him to breathe where there's no air, and the higher you fly, the thinner the air is.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask that. Like, what's the limit? Like, how far can you go up in the atmosphere to like?
I know that he can fly where the clouds are, but not much higher.
Yeah, because you're depleting of oxygen too and everything. So okay, so there's a limit on that too. But the flying,
Yeah, because he
yeah,
does not have like bird lungs, if that makes any sense.
correct. And here's the thing too: if everybody in the whole world had this quirk, the flying quirk, it would still cause massive confusion and traffic. Like people would just be like,
There would be accidents and there would be more
Yeah.
deaths because everybody would be falling.
yeah, right.
And-
Unless you don't have any laws or regulations for that, I don't think it's that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have air traffic regulations because of that.
Yeah.
Oh, you are considered a small plane, my boy.
Yeah, sorry, Rec. We kind of defeated you on that. T.
It's still good. Like, don't worry about that. It's just that
I'm
in
not.
real life, it makes sense that those drawbacks exist. Those are the consequences of flight.
Well, I'm not someone who worries about too high in the travel aspects. So just the idea of being able to get up in the air and move around freely, that's still something
And
to
you get to avoid traffic. You get to avoid ground traffic.
And you get to avoid using plane tickets, so like you save yourself some cost.
There is an expenditure thing. So the thing is that realistically,
Mhm.
it's like swimming. The moment that you're too tired, you're full.
Oh, sure, yeah. So you need to take breaks in here and there, for sure.
Yep.
T, got any last words?
I think my stuff is pretty straightforward. The healing quirk, pretty useful.
Yeah, quite useful. I think it's as useful as creation, pretty much. I can't really debate
Yeah.
on that.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sugar Rush, obviously, sort of debatable, but also the hypoglycemia does not really.
It does not help.
Yeah, it does not really help. Like, good for him that he's able to survive. Because the thing is, they don't really kind of
live long.
But the thing is, they don't mention it a lot in the anime. Like, they don't put attention to it, which is why you're like,
in the
oh, it's such
manga,
a
it's
useful quirk.
But in the manga, it's kind of explicitly stated.
Yeah, exactly. In the manga, it's explicitly stated, but in the anime, it's more like, oh yeah, he eats sugar
want to
and he
show
gets
the
really
cool things.
strong. Exactly.
And I've known people that has hypoglycemia, and it's not fun.
But T, in the well, actually we don't know. In the manga or anime, do they say that he's on any medication while he's using his quirk? I'm assuming he should be, no?
As far as I know, he just eats a buttload of sugar.
I have not read anything that suggests that he takes medication.
All we know is that he has it, and that sugar is pretty much his only way to live. Because even in the manga and stuff, if you look at like certain panels, he's always constantly eating cakes and pastries and stuff.
Because he has to.
There is one thing that's mentioned in the anime as well, is that because of his sugar quirk, he decided to take baking as one of his little skill sets on the side.
Yeah.
For the main reason,
because he can make his own cake.
That and
That's
also
so cool.
but sweets are pricey as hell. Even in
it's better. It's better to make your own sweets at this point, because in Japan, especially, your cake is like $50 with the strawberries on it, which is the most expensive part of your cake.
Shit, I had no idea.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good to know. I think we're gonna close out this episode for today. Thanks so much, guys, for joining in. Like, at least we got to debate a bit on which quirks we would think would be useful and which quirks would be useless, and it was fun discussing it out through, and we got more insights to how the quirks can be used in real life applications. So thanks so much for joining, Tensa, Rec, and T. Always a pleasure. So so that'll be it for today. And for everybody who's listening, let us know your thoughts. Do you find the quirks we mentioned are useful, useless? Let us know. And maybe there's some other quirks you might want to mention to us that could be useful in real life application too. We never know. So we love to hear your thoughts. You want to say something, Tensa?
No, not for this episode.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna put them balls in your doll. All right, don't worry.
No thanks, bro.
And that's where we end.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining, guys. Again, as usual, you can listen to our podcast episodes on most of the platforms: Anchor, Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. And you can also catch our episodes on YouTube and Rumble. Just look for the Otaku Crew, and please subscribe and like our videos. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks. Bye.